Well, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from. I'm so happy to be with you today and to talk to you about H3 cultures. H3 cultures came from looking at the last year and asking myself, what is it my clients need? And what they need in their workplaces is more health, more hope, and ultimately more happiness. And as I thought about that, I looked back over the last 14 months, and 14 months ago, I remember as life started to change, people started putting pressure on each other. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. You should write another book. You guys should perform faster. You guys should get used to working at home. And I did a Facebook Live video about what if we stopped shooting on people and instead we let people feel what they feel and be their best version of themselves. Through that video, I got 2,500 views and hundreds of comments of people saying, thank you so much for acknowledging this is stressful. We're all processing and working at different paces. And because of that experience, I started to ask myself, what is it my clients need right now? What are the organizations I work with looking for? And I thought they need health, they need hope, that there's going to be a better future, and they need happiness, because happiness leads to retention and a positive environment to work in. So if you have a pad of paper and pen, I'd love you to take it out right now, because what I want to do is talk to you about these three words. So the first word is be healthy, right? And so for 12 years, I owned 2 different Snap Fitness gyms. And through that, what I realized is that being healthy is ultimately about 6 areas of our life. So when we think of health, a lot of people think about your physical health, but I want you to write down 6 words: physical, emotional, mental, financial, spiritual, and relational health. Then I'd like you to give yourself a score. 10 is you have a lot of joy in that area. 0 is you have a lot of stress. But I don't want to get you overwhelmed with 6 different areas to work on. Instead, I want you to think about if you could just pick one area to be healthy, what would it be? What would you work on? Because I know when people are healthy, they feel better and they do better. I also use the color green. So when you're writing down your health goals, use green. If you can, go out and get some index cards. Green is about life, about growth, about change, and about being healthy. So get a green index card and write down the ways you want to be healthy. Look for those habits. The next one that I thought was so important is hopeful. I want people to be hopeful. And yellow is bright. My name is Annie. Some people call me Little Orphan Annie. And if you think of the song, The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow, there's hope in that. But what I like people to think about is, what are you hoping for the future? What are you planning on? For 5 years, I've been working very hard to accomplish a goal that only yesterday I found out I qualified to become a certified speaking professional, or as we call it, a CSP. But what are you hoping for? And sometimes when we feel down and we're lacking hope, what I like people to do is look back at where you've come from, make a list. I call it your ladder of success. What have you accomplished? Have you written a book? Have you gotten that promotion? Have you started your own business? So look back, build that ladder of success, and from there, I hope you'll find hope. And yellow is the bright color of The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow. And the third area is happy. So when we think about happy, the color orange actually represents happiness. And so when I think about that with people, I ask them, what brings you happiness? When we are stressed because of all the changing, because of people educating at home, working from home, going back to work, different things in the climate, different things in our culture that are changing, people get overwhelmed. And sometimes that overwhelmness can steal our happiness. And one of my keys to happiness is I get up and I move my body every day. Now, I might not love going to the gym, even though I own gyms, but I move my body. Sometimes go for a walk, sometimes dance, sometimes do something to bring happiness. One of the things that brings me the greatest joy is making other people happy. I know they say an apple a day keeps the doctor away, but what I love to do in workplaces is say, how can you in simple ways appreciate the people around you? I like to pass out Dove Loves. They're sweet because they're chocolate, but they also have a word of encouragement. What makes you happy? What could you do as a team to gather together in the workplace, maybe over the lunch hour or after work, to encourage one another? That's what I think about when I think about happiness. How can we not only find our own happiness, which I believe comes from health and hopefulness and ultimately leads to happiness, but beyond that, what can you do to serve other people? Because I think ultimately our true joy comes from when we're doing well, but when we're making other people happy, it brings us great joy. And so that is the 3H culture. It's about gathering together with organizations and associations and saying, how can we bring an H3 culture to your workplace, back to your home office? How can we move people over the last 14 months from stressed and overwhelmed because of the unknown and because of what the rumors that spread of more fear than hope? How do we shift that so when people are coming back to the workplace, that things are going back, that we get that unity again? I think people will stay at jobs when they feel positive, you'll have longer retention, and you'll have a more enjoyable place to go to work. I had the opportunity to do my first in-person presentations that I've done in over a year. And the first one was in South Dakota. And while I was speaking, a number of the audience members started to cry, started to laugh, and said, oh my gosh, we forgot how much we missed this. When I got to the end and I was signing books, multiple people said, we wish you could have stayed longer. We didn't want you to leave. We need this filling up. We forgot to think about only the circumstances we're in, but to think about a hopeful future. And then just a week after that, I was speaking in Virginia, and a man came up to me afterwards, and tears in his eyes, and he said, you know, I have had such a negative mindset over the last year. I've been looking for everything wrong, but you showed me all the good stuff. And that presentation was Be the Exception. It's about being authentic, and it's about 7 ways of being. But more than anything, what I want to do with people is bring that hope back. And so I hope that you will think your association could use my H3 cultures, which brings hope, health, hope, and happiness back to the workplace. I'm Annie Meehan, and I love inspiring artisans all over the world. Thanks.